everybody. My name is Leslie Vandergans, founder of Enso Coaching and Consulting, and I am here with Kathleen Fletcher, one of our amazing coaches. Woo! And we have the amazing Kit Edwards.
Hello.
Hi, Kit. Kit is amazing. I worked with Kit a while back, and he was one of my favorite people.
It's a lot of fun.
No joke. Did we
Was
not
it?
have a good time?
It was in pretty challenging circumstances.
In
sometimes.
challenging
Yeah.
circumstances,
Which
but
was nice.
we giggled a lot and
made fun of tough situations.
Made fun of the tough situations. I mean,
Yeah.
I think isn't that the best way to do it?
I
Just
mean,
laugh about
however
it?
to cope through it.
Yeah, exactly. Are we trauma bonded?
Yeah, maybe like some Stockholm syndrome. It's happening.
Sure. Now I really love it.
That's right. We'll say great things now.
I've
right?
experienced that.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love it. Well, so Kit recently founded an organization called Vector Intelligence Consulting, and we had this conversation in our opening season opener for season 4. By the way, this is our season 4 of the As You Are podcast.
Great run.
Thank you.
Great run.
Yeah, we're just waiting for somebody to be like, "You jumped the shark, quit."
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
No, we're not there yet.
But
AI coming
we
up
had,
a bunch.
Yeah, we had
bet.
we talked about AI in our season opener, and we were like, hey, we should do a series with several different people that we know that are in the kind of data AI space, and just have some conversations about like what's coming. Because I think there's a lot of people who are like, ChatGPT, okay, but then and AI is coming, and I'm scared, and then
It's moving so fast.
It's moving so fast.
Raising my hand on that
and it's
one.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I think there are some people who are embracing it and using AI in some ways, but then also there's a lot of like, I don't know what to do.
It's like, just sort of scared or in a change curve around adoption.
100%.
And it's, active resistance or passive resistance you see a lot. And it's
Exactly.
just that kind of response is a really interesting one and helping a lot of clients with that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so your experience. So tell us, like, what are some of the things that, I mean, it's such a broad, like, what are you seeing in AI? But like, well, just like give us a, just give us a little outline of what you're seeing.
Sure. I see a lot of prospective clients and clients that don't know where to start, right? There's this you have this like baseline utility of foundational models that have come online and shown everyone power and potential, but they're not really fine-tuned for problems yet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this proliferation of tools. I'm in a consulting cohort that says there's 22,000 plus that have come up.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like they've come so fast in the last year or two in particular. And then, you're trying to tailor the utility and the tooling to real problems.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a ton of noise around that and a ton of excitement around that. And I think a lot of people don't know where to start and what to do with them.
Yeah.
And so helping a lot of clients rationalize that problem.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so with the 22,000 tools that you're seeing out, are there any that kind of stand out to you as like, these are kind of interesting ones that I think are going to kind of like spearhead some big change in the space that we should like pay attention to?
Yeah. The one that it's got a good massive adoption, but it's pretty powerful. There's one called Dante AI, and really what it's like a low code or no code way of training chatbots on contextual data that your organization may have. That's one that everybody I tell about is sort of has eye-opening experiences with.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Claude Code right now, which is an anthropic model. And that's sort of from those that I know, including my co-founder, like a technical partner, sort of the best right now from a lot of people's viewpoint with like code generation or like engineering work, technical analysis as well. So we're leaning pretty heavy on that. But those are, I don't know, those are just the ones that come to mind.
That stand out to you. So, okay, so Claude Code.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Is a kind of an engineering tool.
Yeah.
And so engineers, watch out.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, and it I think it's made the code generation. And there's all this conversation in our space around like, will it let you fire your entire engineering team? Like, and the tooling and the models aren't there, but it's made code cheap. right? And so, the volume of code that drives solutions has gotten way faster and way less expensive, but you still really need good senior engineering, right? So you need like architect level or senior engineering folks to kind of that have a vision for what you're building and can put it all together. Vibe coding is like what happens when you don't have that, right? It's like hastily assembled software that doesn't work very well.
Vibe coding.
Have you heard?
No, I've never heard anybody say vibe
coding. It's more like building software super quickly with AI augmentation.
Oh, right? Interesting. But the need for kind of the vision and for the longer term, like, what is the purpose of this? Why are we building this is still a necessity.
Oh, without question. I think it's actually more a necessity than it's ever been. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a very, very easy thing to do. And I think I see a lot of organizations do this too, is they have internal pressure, whether from their board or from the executive team around, we got to do something with AI. We need to AIify our company, right? For fear of, being overwhelmed by your competition, right? Who may be making investments in the space, but, and that pressure left unchecked is like a great way to have an R&D team like that builds cool little magic tricks, right? Like, or a thing, it's often a silo that solves some problem in a very short-term, small way. It's much harder to do it in line with real problems, right? Like, and I think you have to start there because it tends to amplify AI's utility. These foundational models tend to amplify the problems you already have, or if your processes are sound and you have good data, you can really get pretty significant value from them. But again, a lot of companies want to sort of jump to the last step without doing the foundational work to get there.
Oh, interesting. So it's not like any different than any other organization that we've worked with in the past.
Exactly right. The analogy we use, like the
shiny object syndrome, is that what you're talking about?
Totally.
Yeah.
And there's so much of that right now because there's so much noise around it. And people need help, navigating what's real and what's not, where we are. So
I almost want to do like a major step back and talk about like you co-founding the business that you're in, what that's looked like and how it fits into going into these companies.
Happy to talk a little bit about that. So my corporate career, I was a head of data. So I led data science, data engineering, data analytics. And then, so have built teams in that space. And so, but helping navigate organizations from inside organizations, the problems we're talking about.
Yeah.
And in the spring this year, I decided to go out on my own as an independent consultant, and I co-founded a company called Vector Intelligence Consulting. And really what our mission is to help clients navigate and get more from their data and AI. And I have a technical co-founder, and so and who's a builder, very much an engineer. And so where I work in the strategic space with clients, picking the right problems, defining the problems correctly. He does a lot of the development and a lot of the building. And so we're at the beginning of that journey.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, so let's just say you're going into a client, you're going to work with a client, and the client, and you kind of mentioned this before, that it's generally the space before they need to like have an executive data,
leader.
expert. But so you're going in kind of in a fractional way to help support them in building out that function.
Correct.
How do you, what's your approach? Like, how do you kind of support these business owners in the space?
It depends. It's such a consulting answer, but it depends. So some clients, like you said, want to hire a head of data who is strategically involved with the business on a retainer, right? And is there with you for a period of time and helping you establish a vision, identify use cases, and prioritize the work of a data team. Other clients have a really strong opinion about what they want to do, and they're turning to you to deliver it, right? And so, and in those cases, we tend to work on a project basis. But in the retainer model, it usually starts with sort of assessing what's there, right, and understanding where they are in terms of maturity, and then starting to pick use cases or quick wins where you can deliver value. Right. I'm big. One of the things that led me to go out on my own was I'm big on the impact of data work. It's very easy for a data team to be a cost center and stay a cost center and not drive like either revenue for a business or efficiency for a business. And so that you always want to make sure that you're doing the work you're prioritizing is in line with those things.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So, okay. So going just with your experience, what would you advise? Like if you were like, hey, organizations who have not thought about AI yet or have not really like deeply integrated, AI and data into their day-to-day. Like what would be a couple of things that you would say you need to think about like these things?
I think it's a good question. Start with a business problem. Don't start with tooling or tech because you want that you're not going to stay aligned to value if you say we have to be using Claude Code, right? But if you start with we have this repeating, heavy volume process, takes a ton of labor, it's inefficient, it's not a good use of people's time. That's a good place to start. Like look for problems like that.
Interesting.
And then
repeatable, heavy volume, people waste.
Pain is a good thing to look for.
Absolutely. Great. I think that's key.
Sure, it's something you feel and can imagine then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Well, and it has a real toll on the people in your team, right? And you see and feel that coming into client situations, right? It's like that it's that's a good problem to look at as a solvable AI issue.
Automation. Right. Like what can we potentially automate from a
and that's a good point, right? Is there's automation has been around, right? And like robotic process automation is a good example. But like what I think this utility of AI has done is when you hear agents, I don't like the word, but because there's a lot of mixed connotation with the term agent in AI circles. But I think about it as like you have a complex workflow and you want a portion of it to be AI intelligent. That's a good so but again it gets back to like these fundamentals of like, do you have good processes, right? Because the companies that have those are better positioned to sort of take a portion of it, take a step and say we're going to use foundational models or AI to do AI intelligent automation, right? And that and I think it's AI has pushed automation into kind of new spaces because there's more you can do with it now. Right.
It's interesting, Kit, because as you're talking about this, like I think about some of the things that just come again just from like a business coaching standpoint, right? Is that people will have a tendency to lean in on some like tactical thing, right? Like, oh, we need to have more events, or oh, we need to have X, Y, and Z, like some kind of tactical thing that's not actually solving some larger problem. And all you're saying is, not all you're saying, but what you're saying in this context is it's not any different, right? Like leaning on these like kind of minuscule tactical things, if we don't have like a larger, bigger picture strategic focus, this just becomes noise and extra work.
Well, and you'll fail. Like, that's the other part, right? So like there's a pretty right. Well, and if you think about, I think about investments that companies are making in data or AI as they have to be underwritten to value too, right? There's still got to be an investment hypothesis, right? So it's like we think spending $10,000 on this now gets us $100K or $1 million in return, right? You've got to do that thought work up front, or else you're gonna end up chasing the wrong thing.
100%. 100%. So what is like one or two things like, so again, if somebody is saying, okay, I need to do a little bit of thought work so that I can figure out what, AI data area of focus my business needs to be in, what would you say like some of the good starting places for thought work would be?
I think marketing. There's with like content generation or production of marketing assets, like that whole world has been sort of turned on its head a little bit. When you think about like image generation models or like this tool Nano Banana I've been using, it's really cool. but Veo, there's a bunch of models out there for that. And so that's a good place to start because you can generate marketing assets that are on brand and on voice much more quickly, I think. If you're setting things up right.
Right.
Back office kind of processes are a great place to start. Like a legal services firm just had these huge expenses around like document discovery and in their cases, their caseload, and that's a great space, and they've reduced their cost by 10 million in that space. Like so they've gone from like 11.2 to 1.3.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's all summation and all. But they had these hugely painful processes around it. So I think again, it's look for the pain, and if you and then really define and understand where that problem is rooted, and then you can have a really good conversation about how do we solve for this.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. So what I'm hearing you say is, start with something like, okay, if I'm thinking about the business as a whole and marketing being an opportunity, what are we trying to accomplish as a marketing org?
Right.
And how can we think about our process, our automation, our back office, et cetera, to be able to support it and leverage AI, but don't lose sight on like
where
we're going,
what
or what we're trying to do.
Is, right?
Yeah,
and
what
in
the
that
story
case,
is.
it's like an operating leverage value prop, right? It's you're trying to produce more marketing assets that are fit your brand, while the speed and cost of delivering those goes down.
Good.
Right?
Would you say that the biggest mistake, just based on what you've said thus far, the biggest mistake that organizations are making is just going and latching onto a tool? Or what would you say?
That's a big one. I think it's also, I see a lot of organizations, there's sort of a development path for solutions like this. Even if you pick the right problem, a lot of organizations are failing between like what I would call a proof of concept and production. So when it's like software that everyone's using or process that everyone's using, because there are a set of challenges that foundational models bring in that space that organizations aren't, like engineering teams aren't well positioned for, or like how do we govern this? How do we, how is it going to affect our customer experience? Like there's a whole set of sort of risk tolerance and how do we operate this solution once it's out there that organizations have to think about too. And so I see projects fail there too.
Yeah. So basically, if your organization's kind of falling apart,
yes,
if you try to just introduce AI for fun,
right,
it's not going to work.
It's going to amplify the problem.
That's like fascinating.
I was wondering,
right?
like, what are the red flags that you see?
So signs that you're already on a bad path. One is nobody can explain why, right? Which is like,
chills right there.
Right. Well, it just, and it's a sign that you're misaligned to value, right? Which is like, oh, this is a cool thing. And you're headed towards R&D world then, right? Like built a really cool chatbot, but
but
what do we do? Yeah, exactly. But if you if everybody understands the why, like on the everyone's supporting the initiative, and then across the leadership team, things tend to go faster, and things tend to be aligned to value, right? And sort of the process goes much smoother if that exists. So that's a good red flag to look for.
I love that.
Like nobody can explain
I don't love that, but I do love
that.
No, for sure. Always the why.
Yeah.
There's something, just even in you talking about this, like for me personally, like there's a little bit of ease, I think, in how you're speaking about this, because it's not just like, hey, AI as a ethereal concept, right?
Right.
Is not
just how a lot of people talk about it.
100%.
Right.
And it's so hard to kind of to make it a little bit more digestible in the context of business. And I think we've had conversations of like, what does AI mean for coach? Even just for coaching and for business, because I saw something that said like I got ChatGPT, I built a custom ChatGPT bot to give me therapy, and it's like
I've seen that use case before too. It's a good one. It's actually a good one,
right? But I'm also like, oh shit, like coaching is done. But the reality is what I'm hearing you say is what it can't necessarily do is take the there's like the human thinking strategy.
Yeah.
Like it can give you some suggestions, but like there still needs to be a little bit of like dissecting and focus.
I always think about context is really important, right? And so best used, I think AI solutions are meant to give people time back for connection and creativity. Right. And coaching is one where it's so deeply personal and so deeply about connection with the person you're working with, where I don't think that's under threat. Right. I think, there may be places where, trained properly, you get solutions that are good thought partners, or you get good solutions that are, can do some of the interactions, but it's still such a personal journey coaching that I don't see AI as a threat to that.
Right.
Good things. I think there are places. Yeah. Well,
take later.
Yeah. Take solace or revenue or whatever you want out of that. Right. But like, I also think that it's very easy for people. It's such a change. I see it as like an industrial revolution kind of change moment, right?
Yeah.
And it'll take us years to figure out the human side of it, to be honest. I think we're in that change curve, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a there's a really good book by Ethan Malik called Co-Intelligence. It's like, how do you live and work with AI? Right?
Yeah.
And I don't think a fear-based response is the right one. But a lot of people have gone that way 100%. Because it's not well understood.
I mean, me.
Yeah. Well, and so what are your not to flip things, but like what are your impulses when you think about AI writ large?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it comes from my ignorance, but I think about the impact on the environment, honestly, is one of my big reactions, along with like the job force.
Yes, it is. It is like I said, if you think of it as like utility, like the investment happening in data centers and compute, right? Like compute coming online as a unit of measure for this change moment, right? It's like a watt for electricity, right? And so the demand as people adopt and people integrate it into their lives is going to be huge, right? And like how that investment happens over will be internationally interesting to watch because from a competition standpoint, but also, overall environment on environmental impact, right?
Yeah.
Very
I'm
real.
Thinking about the climate, right? Where it is like, how much water does it take to keep it cool?
Huge amounts of cooling for data centers, like AI infrastructure, huge amounts of electrical demand and water demand for cooling. So that's definitely something a secondary impact you have to think about.
Yeah. Well, then hopefully AI can start to think about how do we do this in a way that's more efficient, right? Like, I mean, like that's the whole, like that would be the idea is that there's going to be a more efficient way to do it. We just have to start to capture that information so we can like leverage that to make sure the climate.
And the thing,
ideally,
one of the mistakes I see people make a lot with AI is like thinking that, and this is where hallucinations get people, right? Like is like that it has an idea about truth, right? And it does, like foundational models don't today. And they're, I had a colleague call them token guessers, right? They're sort of like probabilistically trying to match what you give it in a prompt of like, what does this person want to hear, right? And so you have to be real careful about thinking that it's coming from a place of truth. And there's certain parts of interacting with AI where I'm like a trust but verify kind of, right? It's like, I'm going to go with high credibility sources. I'm going to verify like what it's giving me, right? And I think, but again, back to sort of context being really important, and context is king is the term I've used, is if you frame that problem right, and if you give it contextual information about the demand, right, you can start to engage with it as a strategic partner, and it's very fast at generating, and making sure thinking is represented broadly. It's good in those spaces.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Like a creative partner.
Yeah. It's a good way. Yeah. That's or whatever the strategic planning
uses, right.
Yeah, I've seen some good use cases in that space.
Well, okay, so Kit, what what does it mean? Like, just your experience. Like, what does this mean for? I mean, I think about it as organizations as a whole, but like, I think there's a change management component, and then like there's the leadership component. Like, how do organizations need to think about leading and then thinking about change management as they're really saying, okay, we have to focus on this. Like, what's your hypothesis on kind of what that process is going to look like?
It's a very human change that you need to be thinking about. It's less, I think the inclination that organizations have is to go right to like, oh, this can automate everything, or this should be in all parts of our business. But in reality, the team of people you have is still the lifeblood of your business. And you need, I think I'm a believer in, and this was before AI got big, right? Like with foundational models being released. I'm just a big believer in you have to coach people through change, right? And so it's easy for people to have a fear-based response or get stuck in around the way things happen today. And, I think good leaders are still, and AI is just, the environment, one of the changes in the environment around those changes, but you still have to, in an ongoing conversation with the people in your business, you need to be able to talk about what it means to adopt AI and what opportunities you have to do it together, and what's appropriate use and what's inappropriate use.
100%.
Right?
It's just, I don't mean to be like 100% have to use it. 100%,
200%,
250%. Because I wonder about, like, especially if it's something people are unfamiliar with, how to talk about it with the technology in relation to the people. Like how to understand the two coexisting.
Right. I think there's different ways to go about it, but I'm coaching and training is a great way. Right? Like to actually have an honest conversation. I think this helps dispel some of the fear response too you get in organizations. Is if you have, I'm a big fan of like working groups or like, collective sort of informal organization within teams that it's like, let's just talk about how we're using this. Right. And then you get ideas for how to try it as an experiment, and it's low risk and low, it's not a, taking your job away.
Right.
And you 100%. And that's a first couple steps, I think, on the change curve is like getting your team in conversation about the opportunity you have to use these tools. And then sharing sort of just like what's working and what's not.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, absolutely. It is fascinating thinking about, what you just said, which is, this change management piece, how to kind of work through the way that we've thought about technology and what we're going to be thinking about technology, and this whole concept of like there's kind of an industrial revolution, technological revolution, whatever you want to call it. Because it is true, like we talk a lot about internal representation, which, this is just part of coaching, which is just like I perceive, you say AI, I have this model in my head.
Right.
Like
of what that means.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And so when somebody says it, I'm going to process it this way.
Right.
And so how do we help reprogram, from a partnership standpoint, how you think about it so that you can use it effectively and thoughtfully in the business versus, having that stuck view of what you think it is. Right?
Totally. And bias is a really interesting concept in that equation, right? Because people build those mental models with biases that become either
100%.
like that are either inherent and they realize they're or more explicit and they realize they're there or not. Models have biases too, right? And it comes from the way they're trained and the data they're trained on. That you have to be. That's that's an important thing too, is to understand, and bias is a part of this, but it's a bigger picture too. Is like, this is a good fit, AI, ChatGPT, or whatever, however you think about AI, like this is a good problem to solve with it versus this, a different problem. Just because if you understand bias, you understand kind of the lens that the model or the person is using, and that's holding them back, right? And it makes them a fit for whatever topic you're on.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah. Now my brain's like, ding, 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 ding.
I'm taking it.
Because, I mean, because, you're absolutely right. Like, the thing that is true. I mean, even in like history books, like you read a history book, we have to recognize it's written by a human. And so there's like, there's intrinsic biases.
Yeah, history is written by the winners, right?
Yeah, 100%.
The person, who is telling the people who are in power can tell, like, survive to tell the story.
Right, exactly. And so technology, I mean, essentially what you're saying is technology is not any different. So it's our job to continue to be curious and to continue to inspect.
Without question.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So what you're saying is coaching is even more important.
Well, I actually, I know you're joking, but it's also like, there's an element of truth to that, because it's like, I always think about coaching as a great vehicle for helping you understand your own lens and your own bias.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you almost, the blind spots you have, whether you're aware of the factors that are there or not, a coach can be a safe, objective third party that can help you spot those and understand them better.
Yeah.
Right.
When they creep in and you don't even know that they're there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I think about people who maybe see it as in terms of like, well, it's the AI. It knows all the truth, so I must believe whatever it says.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous.
And it pushes
because there's no ground truth, right?
Yeah.
It's probably, those those foundational models are guessing what you want to hear, right? And trying to give you a response in line with that based on
which is
like natural language.
What scares you about AI?
Do you know I had the same question?
Yeah, get into it, kid.
I think choosing. It's a really good question. I think there's this like sci-fi part.
I'm scared of that too.
Yeah, the robot side.
It's Skynet, right? Like that. I think a lot of people go that direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like it's like this apocalyptic view. I think we're in the midst of a boom with it, if I'm real honest. And I worry about the misconceptions and a lack of understanding and a lack of a capability in the world to choose good applications of it. I worry about that.
Yep.
Right? Because if you look at what it's doing, is like it amplifies these human conditions.
Yep.
And humans are flawed, as you know, in coaching, right? Like, and you operate from those flaws.
Yeah.
So it's easy to amplify
the flaw.
The worst parts of human beings, as opposed to,
the best part.
Give us time back for creativity and connection.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think about that, like, to this point about it repeating back the language that you're using and how dangerous that is.
Yeah.
You're able, I think about absolutely.
Literally an echo chamber.
Confirmation and validation, and which is the opposite of what we need. Like, we need a little, of course, we all need confirmation and validation, but also like as humans, what might I be missing? And challenged with curiosity. I mean, if we don't, I mean, that's a very valid fear.
It is.
Right.
Especially in this day and age. I'll say that.
Absolutely.
We just need to be challenged.
We need to be challenged, and how easy, and I'm sure like on some psychological level, how like, yummy, 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 this technology is telling me exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
So like, then what do we as humans, what do you in your business do in order to confront that?
I think you have to teach people and coach people that it's a trust but verify on problems it solves well. And I think there's a type of problem where it's like you have to prove what it's giving you right. It's almost like the inverse. Like, don't believe its response until you can go and prove it with a credible source, right?
Interesting.
And so you have to know where you are on the spectrum a little bit. And so it's really about, I think, learning how to be an informed consumer of those interactions. And that's its own learning curve, right? I see you responding. Yeah, exactly. That's its own learning curve.
What an opportunity there. Yeah.
But you have to want that opportunity though, too.
Right. And there's so many people that, based on that fear response we're talking about, like, aren't ever willing to start that journey, right? Yeah. So that's why low stakes, safe ways to talk about it and to engage in open conversation around like, this might help you, or this might be a way to start. Right. Like those types of scenarios is a great, if an organization doesn't know where to begin, like just having a group that's talking about best practices is a great starting point.
Yeah.
Because it is such a human change.
Oh, absolutely.
It is. So Kit, would you say your perspective mirrors and or echoes other data experts that are kind of, or AI experts that are kind of thinking about like, okay, how are we implementing this? Like, we need to verify, we need to.
Yeah. Well, I'm wary of the term expert because, again, the speed at which this is moving, there's probably 4 or 5 labs in the world that are working on these foundational models that are truly at the edge, right? And there is a secondary class of sort of people building or implementing with it that oversell. And so if you're familiar, I'm wary of a lot of the noise, right? And so I don't, that's why part of the reason I don't like the term expert, because everybody and their brother became an expert overnight.
Yeah, for
sure.
ChatGPT taught me how
to
expert in AI.
Right. Also, how do we define expert?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and there's also, you talk about AI. AI is an entire field of study, and there's subfields within it, and there's different applications of it.
Have we caught up to it at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think if you look at LLMs or large language models, ChatGPT being one, it's a pretty significant innovation. These models turn out huge amounts of contextual data so that they can resemble and mimic human intelligence, human responses. Like it's very easy to believe in that too deeply when it can lead you astray, right? Yeah. And so I think helping people and helping teams navigate the what's possible now and what's practical now is part of the reason I went out on my own, is to do that across outside of one organization.
Yeah. I mean, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
So one of the things, you just tell me your thoughts on this. One of the things that, because we're also artists,
Yeah.
And one of the things that we believe is that maybe like live art is going to have a little bit of I'm totally pivoting on you.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
We believe like live art, like physical art that is made by humans, or like seen, is going to have a renaissance of some sort because of the, like rapid way in which AI is enhancing like, videos and music.
You hope.
Yeah. See, that is the word that I would use with this, is the hope. Like, I hope, but how do we know, and what can we do to encourage that?
Right. Well, I think the encouragement one is a really good question. I would hope that it give, writ large over time, the adoption of these solutions gives everybody time back, and maybe that encourages people to see how important physical art is to human beings and the expression,
like true like isolated talent. It's different, right?
Talent beyond that, right? Is like, but in terms of, I think where, and this is my own, I've sought to use AI in my own life as a way to give me time back with my kids, right? Like not, and so, so I don't have to burn midnight oil with work, and I can take parts of my job that are repetitive and a machine is actually going to be better at doing, give them that part of my job, and then spend more time, with my 2-year-old, right? Or, but how you encourage it, I think, I think open-mindedness is a big part of that. And I think, but also going at a speed you're comfortable with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I feel like an open-mindedness.
We hear the word open-mindedness.
Eye contact over here on that one.
Okay. We need open-mindedness. We need open-mindedness.
We do.
Short supply.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard right now,
Gosh, yeah.
And it's one of those, it's one of those things like you're in, I mean, I think you're in a field that it's like, man, we have to push against what is natural societally right now, which is like just a hard, it's just a hard place to be.
Yeah.
It really is. Well, and I just imagine the discrepancy that might exist within organizations between the people who are like really bought in versus the people who are like, no, not at all.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
One of the things we were doing, sort of implementation a solution inside of an organization, a back office problem we were looking at. And we encountered really quickly hesitancy and the language that with the language that we used and, bringing this as a solution to everyone, we were really careful to say augment instead of automate, because there's scar tissue. Everyone has scar tissue and
so
fear
right
around when you say automate. It's like they
my job
and
is
they
gone.
worry exactly.
Yeah.
They immediately worry about their job, right? And the truth is, to contextualize solutions like this, you need people who are truly experts in what they're doing to help you fine tune the problem, right, and the solution to the problem, right? And so it's like those are not only are those people important as your adopters, but they're actually super important because they're the real experts with context. And so you need them, you need their expertise, you need them to weigh on what's acceptable output. Does that truly solve the problem? Like, they're the ones who should be offering those types of judgments, those types of decisions, and when you bring these solutions to bear, right?
Love that. Okay, so if you had to, I just want to appreciate you for,
thanks.
There's a lot of like ease around even just like this conversation, just like how I've been thinking about it. So thanks for doing that, because it does feel a little tangible.
Yeah, it's you trying to help people navigate this. Really, like, I haven't been alive for a change like this.
Right.
Right. I have.
You have?
I just look young for my age.
Yeah.
She's 85 years old.
Right.
Well, so, okay, so then if you had to, just like throw a dart and say, this type of job in the next like 5 to 10 years is probably not going to be as necessary.
Yeah. And I'll say this, I'll give you my response, but I'm going to recognize a bias too.
Great. Look at you.
So big consulting. So like the Accentures and Deloittes and Boston Consulting.
I used to work for one of those.
Oh, do you? Me too. Me too. Deloitte.
We've had this conversation too. But I want to hear what you have to say.
I just think like 50-page PowerPoint decks are very easy. If that's the currency, the value that these organizations deliver.
Do I know
commonly.
About those?
Yep. Me too. Again, like shared trauma. But if you go, is that really the right, it's still valuable, right? Like work to do. Right?
Yeah.
Or is that in the space of work that the machines are probably going to be better at?
Yeah.
And we should, you give them the right context, you frame the problem and what you're trying to do correctly, and then you let them do the heavy lifting. I see that whole business model, the big consulting, as one that's just ripe for disruption, and probably further along than that, right? Like they're probably pretty significant downward pressure on those firms, right? Because anybody has a really good analyst. If you can communicate well and write prompts well, like those are generally available to everybody now, right? And so I wouldn't want to be in that business.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
it supports the career decision you made, right?
The fact that you left one of those to company coach. There you go.
There you go.
To do something very human, right? Like
for sure. I mean, I had a role in there that was very human oriented.
Sure.
But for sure, I mean, I still am, because I'm an alum, they send out regular newsletters, and like AI is in the subject headlines so
frequently.
Often.
Yeah. Well, and like everyone, I think they're trying to figure out what it's going to do to industries and what it's going to do to their work. And, that's part of the change curve we're on right now.
Yeah. I heard, actually, a mutual friend of ours said this once, and it stuck with me, that ChatGPT is basically like the AOL of AI. So would you agree or disagree with this?
It's like a SAT analogy. All sorts of AOL, nostalgia coming back at me. I think of them as foundational utilities. So it's like, ChatGPT is like
Google search or something?
Well, no, I was thinking about like public utilities, like railroads.
Oh yeah,
right. Like or like the electric company that provides as a co-op provides electricity is like I think of it's not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. Those teams are innovating and on model versions and pushing forward the capabilities of those models all the time. But I think the real work right now and probably the next 3 to 5 years is like the fine tuning of that capability or that utility to real problems, right? And I think you see the proliferation of tools is a good example of that. Those are companies who are building around using the capabilities of the foundational models to improve some industry or some niche problem that has real value, right? And so I think we're very much in that part of the timeline.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is humans are still important. We have to discern. Yeah. We have to continue to discern.
More important. Yes.
More important.
I mean, I hope.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Discernment and curiosity kind of continue to come into play.
Without question.
And don't be a consultant. I'm just kidding.
well, so I think, consulting is such a huge term.
Right.
I think there's, for people, again, this is, my own bias, right? Because I started a company in the space, but to try to help people navigate the change it represents.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's, and we can go any of a number of directions, right? But there is a real opportunity to get to a better place from a human experience perspective with it, in my opinion. And so like you ask like, what's the thing you fear most, right? Like you can easily go that way. And you can also sort of say like, what's, what utopia could we create? With you know what I mean?
The
like,
other side of the coin for sure.
Yeah.
What excites you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I think there's a lot to be excited about and a lot to be wary of at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hold both.
Give us more time.
Yeah, both things can be true, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And what do we choose?
Yeah.
Well, Kit, what are you hoping to build with this organization and as you're continuing to like dig into data and AI?
I think impact for my clients, right? Like I'm a person who takes a lot of pride in doing real things, right? Like, and I think there is a tendency to misunderstand these types of solutions, but if you can solve real problems with them, I think that's incredibly impactful.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm like bringing my clients' impact is the thing I'm focused on.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right. Where do
I was going to say, where can we find you?
Where do we find you? Yeah. Where do we find you, Kit?
vectorintelligence.io is our website.
Vectorintelligence.io.
Yeah, or vectorint.io, sorry.
Vectorint.io.
Yes. And then and you can set up discovery calls through that website.
Awesome.
So,
awesome. Yeah. And Kit is also on LinkedIn.
I was going to say that's how I found Kit.
Oh, good. Yeah. I am on LinkedIn.
I liked your little bio in there.
Thank you. Yeah. It's you always try to represent. It's hard to write about yourself.
Yeah. As someone who did not know you before today, I was like, all right,
this makes sense. Hopefully, sitting down and talking for an hour, it makes more sense.
Fleshes it out.
Right. Hopefully, those things are aligned.
Yeah.
But,
love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hire Kit if you're looking for some data help.
Oh, absolutely. Or just
AI
a friend.
Help. Yeah, or just a friend.
Or just a therapy session.
He has 4 children as well.
AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Kit.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. This was super helpful. And
thanks for having me, guys.
For sure.
It's really nice to sit down with you.
Yay. Okay. All right. And as always, please subscribe to us on all platforms. We will see you guys very soon. This was the first of a couple of AI conversations. And so we'll keep going that way. But we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye.